Welcome to opportunitiesrilanka.com. We are an investment promotion site where we bring about the opportunities in Sri Lanka for local as well as foreign investors to explore. Today we have with us State Minister for Finance, Minister Eran Wickramaratne. We are meeting today soon after the presentation, about a week after the presentation of the government's blue-green budget for 2018, outlining many proposals for the coming year, creating a lot of investment opportunities and focusing mainly on the government's pet project, Enterprise Sri Lanka, where entrepreneurship and women and youth will be encouraged to play a greater role in the country's economy, while opening up so many sectors in the country for more foreign investments. So there will be many opportunities. Let's speak to the minister and see what he has to say. Hello. Thank you for taking time with us. Let's start by speaking about the investment opportunities outlined in the 2018 budget. What are the investment opportunities and the sectors that the government plans to focus for next year?
I would say in the budget there was a focus on actually creating an environment rather than actually specifying sectors. That was the idea of the budget. Enterprise Sri Lanka is the concept that is being pushed. Sri Lanka has been a trading nation for centuries. Traders have come here from China, they've come here from the Arab world, they've come here from the Roman world, from all over the place. And Sri Lanka has been a center. Our kings have sent trading ambassadors to Europe more than 1,000 years ago. We need to rekindle that entrepreneurial spirit in this country, and therefore this budget was actually aimed at rekindling that entrepreneurial spirit. Therefore the finance minister announced a whole heap of proposals. Among that was several loan schemes, particularly for the small and medium entrepreneurs, because they are presently supplying into the Sri Lankan market. We want them to go global. We want to take their artistic ability, their creativity, their innovation, and create an entrepreneurial energy and also connect them to the export chain, connecting the small with the big. So this budget had many proposals like that. But for the international investor, also there are many opportunities in this country. I would say among those opportunities is particularly in the renewable energy area. Our government is open for public-private partnerships. We can certainly support that. On renewable energy, we also have, we're an island nation, we have huge access to the sea, and marine resources is relatively unexploited, and we are open to that. Even in the energy area, creating solar energy using the sea and the waves is also a possibility. In addition to that, energy, we have logistics as another big area. We're a small country, but we have three large ports. Colombo is the largest of it. Hambantota is the newest port, and then we have natural harbor in Trincomalee. So we want to basically use these ports to create entrepreneur trading center. Also, we want to use this for transshipment. The Colombo harbor has several terminals, and these terminals are owned by the Sri Lankan government, and some of the other terminals are majority owned by other parties, non-governmental parties. So we are open, basically. So there is a lot of opportunity there. We are presently also negotiating free trade agreements with China. We already have a free trade agreement with India. We are talking to Singapore on a free trade agreement. If we conclude the free trade agreement with China, we would probably be one of the few countries in the world who has a free trade agreement with India, with China, and with Singapore. This gives people who are manufacturing here, or value adding here, or transshipping out of here, great opportunity to access the world's largest market, India and China. So this is another big area, and we have announced several initiatives to encourage that process. In addition to logistics, we have tourism. Tourism is growing, and there are the private sector mainly is investing in the tourism industry. The government has a very little role in the tourism industry. We have an opportunity in transport, in domestic aviation. We are open to the world because this is an underdeveloped area. People who want to invest in domestic aviation, they're most welcome. The Sri Lankan government has begun the process by improving the infrastructure in our domestic airports. So that's another area that's open. For those who are in manufacturing and would like to situate their manufacturing in Sri Lanka, there is again an opportunity. Again, the manufacturing could be linked to the markets in the region, and we are providing that opportunity, and I think the FTAs also will help with that. We have a mining opportunity, again unexploited. We have graphite. Scientists tell us that this is some of the finest graphite in the world, and graphene could be basically created out of it. We also have silica, and people who have the technology in actually adding value using these raw materials. Again, we are open for business. We would like to have a discussion with companies who have the technology for the use of this. We want to add value to these minerals, not just to ship them out in bags. I think that era is over. And I think the investor and the country could jointly benefit from it. So these are some of the areas, right, that are open for business, and we will welcome international investment.
There's a host of investment opportunities mentioned by you. Now, when it comes to a foreign investor, I mean, we are talking about a region where there's extreme competition. Why would you say an investor should choose Sri Lanka as opposed to any other destination in the region?
I would give three reasons that come to my mind straight away. I would give three reasons that come to my mind straight away. One is our location. I think we are uniquely positioned on the ship routes east to west. I think there is no port probably better positioned than Sri Lanka on the east-west shipping routes. So if you move goods either way, Sri Lanka is a good port of call. It's historically a given opportunity for us. So the locational advantage is there. If you want to get into any country in the region, you can get in and out of Sri Lanka very quickly using our airport. It's very easy to access us. Also, in terms of our foreign relationships, we are probably one of the few countries in the region which has diplomatic relations, normalized diplomatic relations with virtually every country. So even when you think of the larger countries in South Asia, to move from one country to the other country, there are so many barriers. So if people are hosting international conferences, they want to locate a regional office, right? This is the ideal location because everybody from all those countries around the region could come here very easily, and they can get out of here, to other airports in the region. So location, I would say, is one. The second one is what someone is what investors tell me. Those who have been investing in this country, having businesses for 20, 30 years, have said this. They have said Sri Lanka has a highly
Yes,
trainable
yes.
workforce. That is their experience. I'm just saying what they are saying. And I think some of those multinationals are speaking from their experience in other countries in the region. We have a fairly large, relatively speaking, English speaking labor force. Even if people don't fluently speak it, many in the labor force understand the language, even if they don't express themselves. And I think this has commended the country uh, internationally. So I think this idea of the trainable workforce is the second reason. And the third reason is actually what we have recently provided for investment. Uh, when somebody invests in this country, right, we have low tax rates, but in addition to that, we have recently introduced a concept of what we call a capital allowance. So normally, when you are doing your P&L, you have your top line, you have your expenses, then you will have your depreciation, you have your profit before tax, and then you will work out your profit after tax. What we have just offered is, if someone invests, right, we have offered them in addition to that a capital allowance. The concept is that till you recover your
Oh,
capital,
okay.
you don't really have to, start paying taxes in this country, and that's a big one. So if you invest between $3 million, right, and $100 million, right, you can recover your investment 100%. If you invest more than $100 million, you can recover your investment 150%. Right? And if you invest in the northern province of the country, and the reason I'm specifically mentioning the northern province is because it's a province in which there was a conflict which ended a decade ago, and we want to really see that province grow economically. Then what we do is we provide in the northern province, if we invest more than $3 million,
Okay.
we allow them to recover, the investor to recover 200%, you see, before taxes apply. So I think this is a huge incentive, a fiscal incentive for investors to come here. So we would welcome them. And finally, I would like to say this. This is one of the most beautiful islands in the world. And
Yes,
even if you don't
I see that the
invest,
government has
come and
a
visit us
whole
and then make up your mind.
lot of incentives also on offer for uh, the discerning investor, I would say. So I wish you luck with the 2018 Blue Green budget, and wish all the very best in promoting the Enterprise Sri Lanka concept. And thank you very much for taking time out from your busy schedule to explain in brief about the investment opportunities in the country.
Thank you.